For families across London, Thanksgiving can be a tough time, and families that need extra help can come here for a little relief. But some food bank shelves are still empty, so the food bank is now asking Londoners to give generously. The 24th annual Fall Food Drive runs until Thanksgiving Monday. Co-director Jane Roy says anything you can give is much appreciated.
Take a bag, make some donations, whatever you can. We know that there's lots of people who used to make donations that can't afford to anymore, and that's okay. So, but whatever people can afford to. Drop in some non-perishable goods at the grocery stores, take them to the fire stations. Do that by Thanksgiving Monday.
Roy says Londoners have been very generous over the years, and that while need is increasing, if the food bank can at least hit last year's fall food drive total of over 54,000 pounds of food, they'll be in a good position. But the more food donated, the better, because need in London is on the rise. When it comes to families asking for help, so far this has been the biggest year ever for the London Food Bank. August 2012, the biggest month ever. And September 17th, the biggest day ever, with 275 families coming into this building to collect food. That means that so far this year, demand has risen 19% over the same 9 months in 2011.
In the month of August of this year, we had 3,840 families. That's the biggest month ever. I mean, it didn't seem too long ago that we were having the biggest month ever, and it just seems to keep going up. And that translates to over 9,000 individuals that came directly to the food bank. That doesn't even include the other agencies we help. So what's in part really scary about that is when you look at the trend doesn't seem to be plateauing, it seems to be increasing.
This is the end of the 25th year for the London Food Bank, but co-director Glenn Pearson says that's not something to celebrate. He says the fact that the London Food Bank has been open this long is a sign that poverty has become a permanent part of our everyday lives.
But we as a food bank can no longer shut up about these things. We have to speak up. And it's time that London realized that it's time to grow up. We've got big city problems in a medium-sized town.
But Pearson says Londoners individually can only do so much. He wants to see politicians in London take a stand against poverty.
Londoners have been so fantastic, not just to the food bank, but to all the other agencies. But how much more do we expect them to do? Like, there are answers to these problems. There's answers to poverty. There's answers to low-income housing, right? There's answers to people around mental health situations who are trying to find accommodation. We're just not applying those answers. And to continue to look to the public or to corporations or whatever it is and say, look, because of our lack of leadership, we ask you to volunteer more. It's ridiculous, right? We have great abilities in this country and great sophisticated measures by which we can start supplying to our communities again and doing what they need to. So stop laying it always on the lap of corporations or always on the lap of citizens, and start coming forward as political and economic leaders and decide that you're going to answer these problems so that we're not beleaguering all of our people to death trying to answer problems that in many ways can only be solved at a higher level.
Our community leaders can also play a part in the fight against an issue that has become entrenched in some London communities. And that's exactly what the executive director of London's Emerging Leaders is calling for.
The food bank was intended to be a temporary solution, and Londoners are incredibly generous. They give to the food bank year after year. But we have to decide that we're going to deal with these underlying issues of poverty and do that as a community. As Glenn said earlier, we're a medium-sized city dealing with really big city problems. And unless we come together, and I'm going to call on the folks like the young professionals who are part of Emerging Leaders to really work on this. And this Thanksgiving to fill these food bank bags, but also to think about how we can come together to solve the underlying issues of poverty and mental health with the economic situations we have in London right now.
Both for Quigley and Pearson, the fight against poverty starts with filling the shelves of the London Food Bank, but can only get going once London's leaders start sharing ideas and implementing solutions. Avery Moore, BlackburnNews.com.